Welcome to the Highland Fiddle Workshop. It's Wednesday night, and as request, I'll be doing a workshop on reels. Normally, I would never really do a workshop completely on just reels. Usually, I find less to maybe pass on as regards how to play them. It's more about just going through the tunes thoroughly, an hour. But space, slow ears. I find there's much more to get your teeth into as regards bowing techniques and character. But reels, yeah, it's a large part of our Scottish traditional dance music. So the request that I do a workshop, especially on them, is nae surprising. A very old type of dance tune in Scotland. Scotland kind of claim to be the only country that plays reels, but there's a high probability that they evolved in Scotland. Their origins are in Scotland because they were kind of established by the mid 1500s in Scotland as a dance form. So that's very old for written, documented evidence. So there's nowhere that the word reel is found earlier than that. The first actual written example of the word reel in relation to a dance certainly was found in Scotland, and it was to do with James the Sixth, or James the First as he became, because he became the King of England and Scotland, but he was the King of Scotland first. He wasn't the King of England until Elizabeth I died. But before he was the King of Scotland and England, and just James the Sixth, he one of his big things was witchcraft. He had a really fanatical belief in witchcraft and the power of the devil, and he was, I don't know if you'd say he was terrified of it, but he was slightly paranoid, and there was various reasons for that. But the first and most famous witch trials in Scotland took place in North Berwick, and that was in 1590. And during that witch trial, and James himself actually was at the trials often, because there was more than just one person. It was a whole coven of folk that was being tried, and James actually did quite a lot of the investigation and the questioning. And it's recorded, I've got it written up here, that Agnes Thompson was accused with others that they took hands on the land and danced the reel, or short dance. So that's 1590. So that's very early evidence of the reel's Scottish origins, and it was well established would have been by that time. So it's a very old dance in Scotland, the reel, but it's spread all over the place. And if it's nae Scottish in origin, I haven't seen any evidence. And I got that out of this fantastic book, Scotland's Music by John Purser, and that's probably the authority on the history of Scottish music. Nae just fiddle music. Fiddle music's just a part of that, small part actually, but right for kind of pre-history times to the modern era. So well worth doing. That was a great radio programme as well. So that's as good evidence and as good an authority as I can get to the origin of the reel. So 1590, the first time it's been written, but it's well established by the mid 1500s. So there you go. If I'm wrong, come up with evidence and tell me, and you can put me in my place. But I think you might be lucky. So anyway, get to run through a few reels tonight. And the first is by James Young, and it's a reel called The Bridge of Dee. So I'll play it through steady, and then I'll play it even slower if you want to join in, because some folk have got the music earlier on. I posted it about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So let's have a go with this. If you've got the music, play along. You might ken it. You might be just listening, and it's a grand tune. So great tune, The Bridge of Dee. I'm going to use this as a way of showing how you can bow different ways to get different kind of feels and effects. So I've got the music in front of me. I never play or perform with music, but I've got it here to keep me right to fit. I've posted earlier. So we'll go back to the beginning and play it really slow and steady. Now I suspect this is the Bridge of D in Aberdeen, is what they're writing this tune about. There is of course many bridges of D for its source at the Linn of D right to Aberdeen, which is it's very near 60 miles I would say. So that's there's a lot of bridges across it, but I think this is the Bridge of D in Aberdeen. So nice and steady. Okay, so it's fairly straightforward. I've started with the easiest tune I'll be working on the night. I think for any novices I'll play that through once again, even slower. A few things to watch. The birls, we call them birls in Scotland. I ken it's nae what they call them Alway. If you look at the second bar, that's what we call a birl, B-I-R-L, but it comes out like barrel. We have about 7 R's when I say it. But I was giving somebody a lesson for Canada last week, and they called it a cut, which I'd never heard. But it's basically the same thing. It's just an ornament. You could just play it as a single note. So it's a matter of taste, but you'll generally see them notated into the music. So we'll take this really slow, and then I'll maybe go over some of the bowing, because it's a matter of taste, personal taste. You tend to find, actually, first beat of the bar tends to be, and generally speaking, as far as I'm concerned, when you can, it's a down bow. It's a stronger bow stroke for real, so there's a little more one accent, but carefully you don't overdo it, because that can get a bit irritating. So slow and steady, and then I'll pick it up after that. Pick it up. So there you go, the Bridge of D. I've got a bit of a habit, if I'm not being accompanied for a pickup tempo. I think it's just excitement to get carried away with myself and it's like a snowball. going down the hill. It's not bad, it just gets bigger and bigger and quicker. So I have to kind of watch what I'm doing. But so it's a cracking tune. The second half, you could play this pretty much almost all just open bows like this. You get a different feel if you play it like in the first bar of that second half. So you get a different feel if you bow it like that. Adding slurs to reels kind of help to give a bit of fluency instead of kind of just up and down bows like saw and sticks can be. It gives you a bit of fluency, helps the tune to flow, and it's a dance tune, and that's well worth bearing in mind when you're playing dance music. Kind of how would folk dance to this? So if I play it as I've got written. So instead of, so I get a bit of a snap coming in. And the notes are never played completely equal. There are accents running right through that. So the note values subtly shift about. The listener shouldn't really be aware of it, but if you break it down and analyse it, you will find there's almost like snaps coming in, little accents here or there. But you have to be careful when you teach folk that side of things, because generally speaking, they'll tend to start to overdo it, and then it becomes too much. Okay, so you have to be careful with that sort of thing. So take it once again, and then we'll move on to the next tune. Okay, so that's the bridge of D. I said that was quick. Well, I got excited with myself when I went up. I was trying to play it more at a speed at the end as I would play it if I was playing it at a concert. So it's a matter of taste. If you're playing for the Royal Scottish Country Dance Society, RSCDS, if you're playing for them, you'll find your reels are going to be much, much steadier. If you're playing for a Ceilidh dance at something like the Riverside Club or something like that, does it exist? It doesn't exist. It used to exist. I used to play there. It'll be much more hell for leather. So it's a variety of speeds, but you should have a sense of a pulse to the music, that it should be danceable. So anyway, that's worth bearing in mind. So the next tune is one of my own. It's called the Marquis of Balhuinachie, which is a bit of a mouffe. Balquhandachi, Balhuinachie, which is a real northeast word. Balhuinachie is a place, and the Marquis are probably one of the best Kent farming families for the northeast of Scotland, related to folk like Maitland Marquis from Westerton. His father was Sir Maitland Marquis, and they were the head of the Royal Highland Association for Agriculture. And the family, they own things like Rora yogurts. Some of you might have tried them, or Marquis ice cream, Marquis crisps. So well Kent family. So I wrote this tune for them. So I'll play it through slow. Same sort of things going on, but different notes, obviously. just run it through. I'm going to play it slower. A lot of crossing strings in that particular tuning. I would tend to play these with separate bows, personally. But there are a few slurs there. The birls, we're going to look at the birls just in a second, because that's a lot of these tunes have got birls in them, and they need to be clean, articulate. Yeah, played with a bit with a tart, but fire them out. So let's try this. The Marquis of Bulwhiniche. I'm going to play it slow this time. Keys actually fairly good. The second half, I would describe it as being a bit fickery kind, because there's you've got to go for a third finger to a third, so you've got to really plant that third finger on the strings. You don't want to be trying to lift and get across. You'll just never play it with any fluency. So we'll go through that again, and then I'll look at the birls. So these birls, you could play them as an open, just a single note, if you like. I play that separately like a triplet. It's because for me it's got more punch to it rather than... But it's perfectly acceptable. That's just how I play it. Tricky thing is that keeping the bow and the fingering together, otherwise it doesn't come out very clear. So I'll play it once again slow, and then I'll pick a tempo up a bit. So if you're playing along, I might be playing here myself actually. It could be nobody playing, at which point this is a total waste of time, but there might be. So let's fire back to the beginning, slow, and then I'll pick up the tempo. Accent, just change it about any way you want. you can accent if you like, if that suits you. But anyway, there you go. So that's the Marquis of Balhuinachi, which is one of my ain tunes. Get to move on to the pipe slang now, which can be found in the Captain Simon Fraser's airs and melodies peculiar to the Highlands and Islands of Scotland, chiefly collected in that interesting period between 1715 and 1745. So most of the tunes in that collection have Gaelic titles pretty much. If you haven't got it, well worth getting, because it's a real snapshot into the music and probably the singing tradition of the period, because a lot of these melodies would have been song tunes, but it wasn't thought to be politically very safe to publish the Gaelic as well. But they've got the Gaelic title with an English translation. So a brilliant book if you can get hold of it. So we'll do the pipe slang. Shona, my helpful assistant, has a question.
No, there was just a couple of things about barrels. Apparently in North America they call them cuts.
I did mention that because I was teaching somebody last week and they didn't care what a barrel was.
So they call them cuts.
They call them cuts, but they're barrels. So, but that's how we cut. But I think it sounds better. It's a barrel. Okay, it's like a machine gun. Barrel. It sounds like how it's supposed to sound. But anyway, a cut. If that's how you cut. Perfectly fine. So, how you play them? 3 notes. First 2 are the same length as the last one, and we tend to be certainly the one we were shown to play top part of the bow, and that's because you get the most effective use of your wrist as opposed to the elbow. If you get up to the heel, it tends to come from further up your arm, but the articulation's a wee bit tidier in the top part, and so it's just if I take that Marquis of Balhuinachi. You have to hear every note, so it doesn't matter how tricky it is. Like on a tune, should never sound difficult. That's easier said than done, that's for sure. But it's just 3 notes, so all that it is 3 notes on the same note. So that's an open E, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Always wear down, predominantly if you can. That's part of why you bow things certain ways. It's so that where you get the effective things like snap bow and a down up is preferable to get the attack. Barrel's the same thing, down up down, with that weight on the first note. I do tend to lean into the note a little bit. I don't like to say press your bow into the string because that just gets distortion. That's nae bonny. No, didn't look for that. But when you're playing barrels, it gives you a kind of percussiveness below the note. So you have to be careful, but a little bit of weight helps to define the 3 different notes. You can probably hear it. I'll try and overdo it just. But then I overdo it because you lose the actual melody note. So there you go. Right. Bridge of the Marquis of Balhuinachi. I would be interested to hear any North Americans saying that just to see how they get on, or English
like
folk.
Balhuinachi.
Balhuinachi is sort of how it's written. But, well, it is written like that, but it's Balhuinachi is how it's said. So there you go. I'll leave you with that. We'll come back next week, see if anybody's got it mastered. So, right, so I'm going to move on to pipe slang for the Simon Fraser collection. Right, I'll play it through steady first and then we'll go through it slowly. And again, lots of barrels here. Okay, sorry, that was a wee bit off-putting. I lost connection there. I sometimes wonder if the boys are on their Xbox up the stairs, but apparently they're nae, so just a bad connection. So I'll go through that slowly again. The pipe slang. Okay, so hopefully you've kind of got a feel for that. Just go through it a few times. Definitely has more a Highland feel to it, that tune. It's definitely got that kind of sensibility, but lovely tune. But again, lots of birls. I didn't really set out to do this on birls tonight, but every tune has had so far. So let's try that again. Nice and steady. Well, that is true, actually. And I'll be quite honest, just about every reel could be turned into strathspey. And if you go way back, this is to do with the origin of the strathspey. It's a wee bit lost in the mists of time. It certainly would suggest it comes from the banks of the River Spey. But up in Strathspey, they were called Strathspey reels. So to me, I mean, the reels got very old origins, mid 1500s. By the time we get into the mid to late 1600s, you've got what are known as Strathspey reels, which have a kind of strong character of their own. They're picking up more of a dotted feel to them. And by the 1700s, they're a distinctive category of tune entirely. But you can mark a reel out of honest Strathspey and vice versa. A good example. Let me think. The Titanic reel. That's a Donegal tune, but it's basically just The Devil in the Kitchen, which is a Willie Ross tune. It's a pipe reel, and it's played like this. too much bother dithering is Archie Campbell, James Scott Skinner tune. Better known as the Laird of Drumblair. Okay, so if it came first, chicken or the egg, the reel or the strathspey. So anyway, that's a wee look at strathspeys and reels. They're definitely completely interrelated, and be equally important in Scottish dance music. But as I said earlier, the evidence, although it's probably the kind of thing you could get in a very big argument with folk of various nationalities if you to say that the reel is a Scottish dance tune that travelled other places, but the earliest evidence far and away is Scotland. So unless somebody comes up with something more definitive and older, I'm quite happy to say that. But clearly it's a big part of other musical traditions, so it's spread down to England, across to Ireland, and then on to other places. But yeah, the mid-1500s for the foundation of the reel being something distinctive and distinctly Scottish is pretty old. So you'd be hard pressed to find anything written down that would be better than 1590 James VI at the witch trials in North Berwick. So I'm going to lift this because my last tune, I need to turn that page. Now, a couple of tunes in D, which are a good, accessible key to play in for fiddle players. C, maybe not so much so. So I've got a couple of tunes in C, the pipe slang, which actually would go quite well with the haggis. It's in C. It's a great tune. Usually goes with North of the Grampians. Two of the best tunes for going together there's ever been. I find it hard to believe they were written to go together, but both tunes by Captain Simon Fraser. So that's North of the Grampians, the strathspey, and the haggis, the reel. So the last tune I'm going to look at, I've left it at the end because it's easily the hardest. Miss Dundas of Arniston. I posted the music earlier, and quite a lot of these tunes, you find that they use the whole scope of the fiddle. They didn't go up into third position, but they use the G, the D, the A and the E string. And in this tune in particular, which was written by William Gow, he was one of the sons of Neil Gow, so Nathaniel gets a lot of credit for being his finest son for playing and composing, but his sons all wrote really good tunes, maybe to a lesser degree, but no less competent and talented. So this is a tune for I use quite a lot of four fingers, because in some cases you're having to go for what would be an open E string down to a D, so it means jumping right across the A string. So if you use a four finger, it means that you can keep it on two strings, but we'll come to that later. But it's a lovely tune, but a wee bit tricky, so here we go. See what I mean? It's a bit of fickery. Taking a bit slower than that, so even slower this time. Got a flat there, B flat, so that can throw the spanner in the works. So mind and pull that first finger right back. And I use the fourth finger to keep it on one string. If you didn't, if you play the open E, you cross the string for the A to the E for one note and back down again. So it keeps it a little bit tidier. Just means you've got to make sure your fourth finger is up to speed on this. Practice. It's a great tune, but it is a wee bit tricky. A lot of folk would take a look at that and think, "Oh, to hell with that! I'm not going to dive into that." But it's a great tune. You don't hear it that often. You hear it now and again, but it is because it's quite tricky. So we'll go through it even slower this time. That second bit, you're crossing strings. And well advised to use your fourth finger if you're a fiddle player. So again, even slower. I'll slow down. So that is a lovely tune, but it takes a little bit of work. I would say, like any of these tunes, if you find them tricky, slow it down and practice them slow. Take as much time as you need. I mean, there is a point where you need to push yourself, but it's no race. It's music, should be for enjoyment, but if it's tricky, take time. Regardless of how tricky it is, it should never sound tricky when you're playing it. It's not a great sensation as a member of the audience, and it sounds like the performer is hanging on by the skin of their teeth and you're kind of on edge. But it shouldn't sound difficult. If you listen to somebody playing one of the great classical concertos, the folk have given the best performances of these. It sounds effortless. If you listen to somebody like Maxim Vengerov, classical musician, it's just effortless. It sounds easy. It makes you think, I'll go and have a go at that. And then you discover exactly how good they are and how difficult the music is. But you find that in every sphere of music. There's folk that make it sound effortless. But practice is the key. Get your fingers on the fiddle or whatever instrument you play. And tricky bits in particular, human nature inclined to avoid difficult situations, but these are the things that you need to spend the extra time on. So if you've got a weak fourth finger, practice it. Physically it can be uncomfortable, and that's a big problem for some folk. Oh, it's not fine. So you want to avoid that sensation, but to get the muscles working, you have to work at them. You would never run a marathon without training for it first, and it's the same sort of thing. The muscles, tendons in your arms and your hands, they need to get used to playing, to have the facility to do it comfortably. And it's like a sportsman, an athlete, you need to warm up, so kind of half an hour warming up. I've been 3 days in the garden digging, and I'll be quite honest, I'm no best warmed up for doing this sort of thing, but it's good for you. So I'm going to play it through slowly, then play it again, and I think that's about as much I want to say about these tunes. So Miss Dundas of Arniston by William Gow. There you go. Right, so obviously I've got no idea if anybody's trying to play along. If you are, good. Maybe not the easiest tune to play along with if you're a novice, but I hope there's a few pointers, just how I play in particular, or how I was kind of basically raised as a fiddle player, the sort of stuff we were listening to. But some good tunes, give them a go. The music's fairly easy to get hold of, apart from my own tune, the Marquis of Balhoinike. Give us a shout, let me ken how you get on trying to pronounce it. But thanks for looking in, and I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you later. I'll be back next Wednesday with something. I might do it on Nathaniel Gow tunes, because I've still got Nathaniel Gow's Joseph Ruddiman fiddle here, which is a fantastic thing to play on. So I might work on 3 of his tunes next week. So thanks very much if you've been here with me, and we'll be here on Friday for our concert, live for the lounge at 8 p.m, which is usually quite a lot of fun. Have a good laugh doing that. And of course Shona will be hopefully singing at that as well. If you've enjoyed it, if you want to chip into the tip jar, the address is www.paypal.me/Paul Anderson Shona Dawn. So take care, folks. Yeah, bide at home, go to your garden, then I drink domestos. All the best.